Hello and welcome to another episode of Data Lunch, where we try to take a look at data in a more entertaining and funny way. We have with us someone that I've been chasing for a few weeks to actually come up in our show, but he's very busy. He's going to show us something really interesting, but I'll let him explain that. So we have Gaurav with us. Hello, Gaurav.
Hello, Anharo.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. It is nice to have in here.
Yeah, good.
Today I'm going to show you like how we use the Logic app.
Okay.
And there we use some approval functionality, and it is really good. You can see and you can see it.
Perfect. Let's take a look then, because you cannot see right now, but he has a lot of things open on his desktop. So let's take a look. So tell us all about it.
So what we like, Logic app, which is a great tool. You can do the workflow, different kind of workflow. You have different connector like SQL. You can connect to SharePoint,
okay.
Excel. There are so many things.
Okay.
Today we are going to focus specifically on the approval.
Okay.
So like in every organization there is some approval mechanism, approval workflow.
Yes.
We need to do approval. So here we have an example where we have the purchase order.
Okay.
And we have some content in the Excel.
Okay.
We need to send to the multiple users a specific content related to them only.
Okay.
And then we need to get the response from user. Okay, it is approved. You can go ahead.
Okay.
Kind of stuff.
Yes.
So this is why we are using the Logic app. We have Excel, we have Blob, we have so many things. So
yes.
I will show you.
Okay, perfect, good. So what do we have here right now?
Here what we have right now, you can see there's one Excel file.
Yep.
Which we are going to consume, and we are going to send the email notification to end users.
Okay, good.
So we have, you can see where we have user email.
Yes.
One is like Gaurav, which is myself, and
yes.
Other is Alejandro.
Good.
So like we are going to send the email notification. So like this is an template, you can say.
Okay.
Here we have records.
Yes.
For each user. So when we are sending these email notification, it will look like something like this.
Okay.
You got the notification.
Yes.
You got the content which is applicable for you only.
Okay.
Forget about first two column. These are system column which we can be removed easily.
Okay, good.
So here you can see I received the email.
Yes.
I received the content which is related to me. So
okay.
Go back to the Excel template.
Yeah.
I have only 3 records which is for me.
Yes.
So I have these in my email notification as an attachment.
Okay.
So it is like everything is random.
Okay, but that these are only your records, right?
Yes.
What you Gaurav are receiving only your records from that thing that is there in that Excel spreadsheet.
Yes, you're
okay.
right. You're right.
Okay, good.
And I can put subject line dynamically, like using the Logic app. I can put a body.
Okay.
And the most important thing is we have button called approve.
Yes.
And this button, when I hit it, Logic app will register my response.
Yes.
And that is like I approve this content.
Okay.
So whoever is like next step is after that, he or she can follow that.
Okay, perfect. Let's keep going then.
So here I can let me go here, the
yes.
Excel, which is the source for a Logic app. It get the data from Excel.
Yep.
So whenever we think about Excel, it is the first question: how do we maintain the data quality?
Yep.
Because it is application. User can insert anything, and
yep.
it might break the application.
Yep.
So what we did, we are using here the Excel table. So
okay.
if I just do this, and if you go into table design, okay. So this is a table which we are going to read using the Logic app.
Okay.
So when we are reading this table, suppose this is a table, and someone's user tries side to low, and even try to add anything below or above or it's left and right. It does not care, because it does only focus on the content of the table.
Okay.
So it will not impact. And So this is a source file for us.
Good. Okay.
And so now go to the logic app.
Okay.
So logic app, I will show you how we are reading this content and how we are moving from different stages, and then we are doing the approval.
Okay.
Before I will go there, show you the logic app.
Yes.
Let's see something else. So let me show you how does it work. What is doing in the background. So like this is a source.
Yes.
You can see.
Yep.
And this is the end and email notification which user will receive.
Okay.
So now I'm going to show you what will happening in between.
Yep. Okay.
So let's see.
Let's take a look.
And then I will show you the logic app how it is
And
doing.
then we'll take a look at the logic app. Okay.
Yes. So here we can.
So we're going to Azure now, correct?
Yes, we are going to Azure now. And here you can see we have
Wow, we have a few things there.
a few things there.
What do we have?
So we have logic app, we have blob storage, and we have a couple of API connection which is used in the logic app.
Okay.
So what I'm going to show you here first thing is how we are moving data across, because we are doing couple of things here.
Okay.
And we need to make sure we are having a correct data at correct place.
Okay.
We are having the audit log, how data is transformed from one stage to another stage,
Okay.
and everything.
Good.
So like we have in the blob container where we have two container. One is raw, which is we are keeping the source file exactly the same what it is.
Okay.
And in the transform, like we have multiple email within an Excel.
Yes.
So we need to send one file per user.
Per user. Yes, correct.
So we need to split those records, and we need to generate a CSV file,
Okay.
which will be used as an email attachment.
Okay. Like the one you showed that has only the 3 lines for garage.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
So what raw is like, it's pretty much we are capturing, we are just copying, you can say,
Okay.
same file as it is. We can hide this, it's not needed.
Okay.
So like you can see, we have raw. Under that
Yes.
we have PO, which is purchase order, and then we have year, month, and date.
Typical structure in blob storage.
Yes,
Okay.
of course,
Good.
of course. Then after we have the execution ID.
Yes.
Suppose you are executing the same process again on the same day.
Yes.
Do we need to we need to split it? We need
Okay.
to keep the separation because it is a different thing.
Yes.
So we use this is a logic app execution ID.
Okay.
So it is not any random name. It
Yeah.
is a logic app execution ID.
Okay.
So whenever we need to debug and we need to identify some issue, we can go here. Okay, this is my execution ID, and let's go inside. What is there? Okay, this is my source file as it
Source
is.
file, okay.
It's a binary copy.
Good.
Same manner, we have the same structure we are following for transformation or transform, and the only difference here is we have split by user.
Okay.
So let's get inside it.
Yes.
Here we are. Now you can see
Okay.
we have two email addresses. That's the
Yes.
reason we have two different copies, or not copies. It's files. And if you go back to our Excel, you can see we have two emails.
Yes, correct.
So there are so many things we need to do before we send this email notification. Like we have single data set, a
Yes.
single Excel table. We
Yep.
have everything in a single table.
Okay.
So we need to identify the unique list of email address.
Yes.
Then we need to create a CSV file for each user.
And we're doing all that with Logic Apps.
Yes,
correct.
we are not using any other technology.
Wow.
So we
That's
are
very
doing-
sophisticated.
we are doing a little bit of transformation, like
Yep.
when you are saying get the distinct look of user ID,
Yeah.
split by the email address. This is something, a bit of transformation, not like a complex one, but yes, we are doing a transformation.
Can we take a look at the code? Can we take a look at that Logic App?
Yes, we can. So something.
Let's take a look. So now we go back to Azure, right? Because we were seeing before the storage account,
Yes.
right? Where we were storing both the input and the output of each one of those files.
Yes,
right?
correct.
But now we're going to take a look at the actual Logic app.
Yes.
Okay,
Now we are going to take a look at the actual Logic app. So if you go here, okay, perfect. So this one is just one. So I have used the two Logic app.
Okay.
One is which is doing a transformation, and the other which is sending the email notification.
Okay.
So email notification, like of course, as I mentioned, we need to split the files. We need to get the distinct email address. All these things done in the one Logic app.
Yes.
And when we get the final and we get the clean file, we are using the second Logic app. There is a reason for using a second Logic app. I will come to that point when I explain you how we build the Logic app.
Perfect.
So here we go. Okay, so there is one point which I missed.
Okay.
We are using the SharePoint as well.
Oh, you're using SharePoint as well. Okay.
Okay, so here what we are doing, user will upload the Excel file in the SharePoint.
Oh, okay.
So what is happening here is this Logic app is monitoring that folder every 1 minute.
Okay.
You can change the frequency as well, and this will whenever the file is stopped, it will trigger the Logic app.
Yes.
So there's like
And can we see the code there? So that is the first one that when a file is created, right? This is how it's actually monitoring SharePoint.
yes. So we have defined the site address.
Okay.
We have defined the library name and folder. These are the pretty standard. And here we can define the interval as well.
So this is every minute that it's right now checking for that content. Okay.
The moment it's dropped, within the 1 minute, it's kick off the Logic app.
Okay.
So there are pretty much some variable initialization.
Yes.
Now this is so this is the first one is the trigger.
Yep. Okay.
Which trigger the Logic app.
Yes.
Everything else is task.
Okay.
So if you go here and we have used a list folder. The
Yes.
reason being, we don't want a user to be load the file name.
Yes.
When you think about the file name, there might be say, okay, I need to any tool you say, okay, the file name should be this name only.
Okay.
But here, what we have given the flexibility, you can name it as what you want.
The name is flexible, so the person loading those files can simply save it with whatever name because we're listing the contents of the folder. That is a SharePoint task as well, right?
Yes, this is a SharePoint task as well. So what it is doing, it's listing all the files inside the folder.
Okay.
And based on that, we pick up the file and we.
So Logic Apps has native functionality to connect directly to SharePoint and start working with this, right?
Yes.
What happens after we have found there a folder? What happens if it starts to list the contents? What happens next?
So once we get the content, so then we have two direction. You can see here. One is raw and one is transform. Raw, what we are doing, just copying the same file as it is in the blob storage.
Okay.
Predefined folder structure.
Okay.
And a transform, which is we are doing too many things.
Okay.
So here we can go step in. So what it does, it get the file ID from the previous step.
Oh, so we're passing parameters from one to the other.
Yes.
Okay.
So we mentioned that file name should not be static.
Yep.
It can be changed.
It can be any name. Yes.
Any name. So that's the reason we need to pass the file name. We need to file ID.
Okay.
So that we can process it.
Okay.
So here, what is we are using? We are using this is Excel online task.
Okay.
So where you can read the content inside the Excel.
Okay. So here we're seeing it's called list rows present on a table, right?
Yes.
So what's happening here? It's opening the Excel file.
It is reading the data from the Excel file which is available in the SharePoint.
Okay. Good.
So this is specific task only available on the SharePoint when it is Excel.
Yes. Okay.
And if you think of like we are reading a file from the SharePoint.
Okay. Good.
And if you say, okay, I would want to do the same thing when
Yes.
we have file in the blob storage.
Yes.
It is currently it is not supported.
It's not supported.
This task is only available for the when we have file in the SharePoint.
We have the file in SharePoint. Okay.
It is in OneDrive.
Okay. Good.
So here what we are doing now, we are making the distinct list out of those records.
Okay.
And when once we get the distinct list of email address, then what we have is we are filtering based on each email address.
Okay.
We got the data set now.
Yes.
We can play around it.
Okay.
First thing what we did is get the distinct list.
Yes.
Perfect. Now we have a distinct email address. We loop it through each email.
We're looping through each email. Okay.
Yes.
Can we take a look at some of the code before where it says compose? What do we have there in that code? So this is, what is this compose?
So this is like what we are trying here, get the distinct list out of the email column.
Yes.
So this is the way we can do the we can do it in the Logic app.
Okay.
So here we are doing the compose, which will allow us to generate the distinct list.
Okay.
So if I go scroll up, here
Yes.
is a call.
Okay.
So it is will give what we are doing. We are doing the intersection between the same data set.
Okay.
If I scroll right, you can see the column name as well here. So here you can see we are using the email.
Yes.
So what
correct.
it is doing, it is using the intersection. It is giving us the distinct list of the email address.
Okay.
That is what we require if we have everything in a single data set. Because we have like for example this one I just have these two email addresses.
Yep.
You might have 200.
Yes.
So you need to split it and
So we need to split it all.
yes.
Okay. Good.
And then is so we got the distinct list here.
Yes.
We loop through it, and for each email
Yes.
it's a loop, simple loop. Filter, so when like we are using the email address to filter the email column,
Yes.
so which is like then we are generating CSV out of those data set.
Yep.
So like you can see in my previous email, this is the GUID. It's like
Yeah, it's the GUID of the file itself that got generated before.
so here we are generating the GUID,
Okay.
and then after you can see here is the we are saving that file in the blob storage.
Okay.
So I have like if I go here and I have look, this is how we are saving
This is
the
how we're
file.
saving it. Can we go back for a moment to the Logic app and can we see that code that actually saves in blob storage?
Of course, I can show you. So create blob transformation. So this is
That looks like, is this another native Logic app task functionality?
everything whatever we have used here is native.
Everything is native here.
Yes.
Okay, so we haven't had to write our own custom complex code in .NET and store it in Azure functions or anything like that. It's just out of the box Logic apps.
Yes, we have used the functions like whatever is available in the Logic app.
Yeah.
But we haven't used anything which is very customized.
Okay.
So you can see here in the blob,
Yes.
we have defined the container name.
Yes.
These are the blob name, so it is something dynamically generated. So it's
Okay.
not something which is hard coded.
Okay, good.
So every time it does run, it take the GUID, it does take the prefix based on the initial variable which we have defined.
Okay.
And this is the output which is coming from the previous step.
Okay.
So you can see this is the create CSV table.
Yes.
So this is coming from here. So we have created a CSV format for each email address.
Yes.
And then we are saving it in the blob
In
storage.
blob storage. Okay, good.
So this is like we got the distinct email, then we have split it. Now next step is send the email notification.
Yes.
So here what we have is we are making some entries in the log as well,
Okay.
which I will show you.
Good.
So if I go back here, and there is a log, notification log.
Yes.
So here you can see we are logging each and every notification we are sending.
Okay.
So there are two things which you might need to like the email,
Yes.
where we are
Correct.
sending the notification.
Good.
Then the other thing which we are doing is when it is sent.
Okay.
It was sent,
Yes.
and the other thing is when we get the approval.
When we get the approval date. Okay. Good.
Yeah, so it will help based on this content. You can we can create a nice Power BI report,
Yes.
because Power BI report allow us to use the storage table.
The storage tables. Okay.
So you can just take this data, use the Power BI, and you can have the nice visuals, and you can, because sometimes not sometimes, I think I have sent the 2000 or 200 notification,
Yeah.
and now I want to know how many of them approved,
Yes. Correct.
how many of them are still pending.
Okay.
We might need to do the follow-up.
Okay.
So all those stuff you can use this notification log.
Directly connected to Power BI, or Power BI connected to it actually, for us to show that. Why are you using the table storage? Because table storage is not something that we normally use. We're talking about places where to make our data persistent. Probably the most natural place would be an Azure SQL database, right? Why are we using table storage here?
So this is like for this one, like we don't have much data.
Okay.
So this is like it is a quarterly activity. It's not like having daily activity.
Okay. Good.
So you can see, okay, it will run 4 times in a year.
Okay. It's only 4 times in the year for the process of the client you were working with.
Yes.
Okay.
And we can use the SQL table.
Okay.
So Logic App does allow you to connect to SQL table
Natively as well.
Natively.
Okay.
As well.
Good. Perfect.
So it is like you can just Azure database, connect it, and
Okay.
you can use it.
Okay, so Logic Apps is also giving us the possibility to connect not only to tables and blob storage directly, natively, but also to Azure SQL database for more the process of keeping track. If this were to be a massive process with hundreds of documents being sent around, obviously we would want to use something a bit more sophisticated than tables, correct?
Yes, of course, of course.
Okay, perfect.
So next thing we are going to talk about, like here you can see whenever we are sending email, it is entering the log table, and then the other thing is, next thing is probably sending notification, which is critical, or which is the main part of this entire Logic App.
Okay.
So the reason like we need to use the second Logic App is I try to use the send approval email directly into this single Logic App, which is because why we need to have the second app.
Yes, it doesn't make sense when we already see that we have some already task here, an Outlook task. It looks like an Outlook task.
Yes, it is the Outlook task, and so the reason being I have to use the second Logic App because when I'm using the Outlook task, it is waiting for the first reviewer to be taken action, and then it will send the notification for the second email address.
So it's getting them queued. It's waiting for the first receiver, for the first recipient of that email to actually say approve before it sends the next one. So that's why you isolated on a different one. Okay, and how does that look like, that other Logic App?
So we are just passing some of the parameters to
you're creating variables here. So you're passing content from, and this is very interesting, this capability of natively having a Logic App call another Logic App, passing parameters from one to another. So you're passing parameters here for the email, right? Is that so?
Yes. So you can see here I am passing 5 parameters.
Yes.
One is email, one is file path where that's file.
Where it's stored,
the field ID, and then quarter and learn ID. So these are the 5. Five.
The 5, okay.
So and you can see this is the workflow, which is the you can see this is the name of the Logic App. So the second Logic App.
Yes.
And this is manual trigger. So
it's a manual trigger. Okay, good.
So let's move and have it on the I'm opening one
And,
more.
and we're going to take a look now to that second logic app flow,
Yes.
right?
So second logic app is, here we go.
Okay.
Give it
That's
a time, it's just opening.
It's coming now.
It's coming now.
But it's very interesting to see how, because hey, when you hear about logic apps, you don't necessarily expect such a flow, right? With so many containers, and this is a very interesting solution because these type of flows normally are created with different flows, right? Probably for our viewers there, many of these flows many years ago used to be done directly in Exchange with Outlook forms. A few years later, probably with SharePoint native flows, but now because we're in Azure, we can actually leverage and integrate, which is very interesting. Concepts related to the desktop. So elements like having the full list in Excel, which is what a normal user would do, right? The user that is creating the list will go to Excel, keep the list, and upload it and save it to SharePoint under the shape of OneDrive. Could even be like that, right?
Yes. So just give it one more go.
Let's see how this goes. There we go.
Here we go. So this one pretty simple. We are
Okay.
just sending an email notification based on the parameter which we have received from the previous logic app.
Okay.
You can see we have the command. So this is the Outlook task.
This is the Outlook task now that we have not implemented on the other one, but actually in this one.
Yes. So this one, like we can define basic parameters like email.
Okay.
You can see the subject. This is the content we are going to attach.
Yes.
Other than this, like body. You can,
Here is where we put actually the body. Okay.
So here is the email body. So this
Yeah.
is, I have used the basic. You can have the nice HTML email body,
okay.
which can have the images, which can have a nice table, like anything you want to do.
Okay, perfect. So it's not the plain, just the flat one, ugly one. But we can make that content a little bit more dynamic.
Yes.
And based on what we have seen so far, if we can incorporate variables, we can definitely enrich that email body massively, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Even we can use those variable in the body itself.
Okay.
So suppose this is the text only.
Yes.
And like I can show you, like you want to use some of the any of the variable, you can just
You just click there and then you see the content ready to be incorporated.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
If I just leave it there and save it,
Yes.
then you can have the email address after the this text message.
Directly there. Okay, that's great.
So everything is there. You just need to pick.
And that's it.
Yes.
Well, because this is very simple flow. I mean, there are a lot of moving pieces here, right? So yeah, the process of assembling them all together, from Excel to SharePoint, then splitting that or storing that in blob storage, then it's breaking it down, right, per email address.
Yep.
And based on that email address, then it's sending via Outlook. There are quite a few moving pieces in this kind of solution. And then what happens? Then you send the email, right?
Yes.
And from a flow, that's it. Email sent.
Email sign.
Okay.
And this is the email which you can see.
And this is the email, which is the one that we showed at the beginning.
Yes. Right.
Okay.
So let's click approve.
Okay.
So now you can
Good.
get the nice response. Okay.
Good. Okay. Nice. Thank you. Response approve have been successfully registered. Good.
Okay.
Clean.
Clean. Perfect. And let's see the tables.
Good.
Have I got that response over here?
Move to the right. We had one response before. Yes. Now we have two.
And you can say the date and time.
The date and time. Okay. Good.
So
Perfect.
what if anyone try to click on same link again? What do you think? Like
It shouldn't let me do it, right? If I already had clicked on it and I'm seeing many of these, probably it should tell me, yes, you already replied to these somehow.
so what does it say? Okay, it's completed or cancelled.
Okay, perfect. So it's done what I needed to do with that. It's over.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, Gaurav, what else do you have to show us today, or that's it?
I have a lot more to show you.
Okay.
How to debug this if you want to, what I'm showing you the running and tested logic app.
Yes, okay. The nice functioning perfect one, the one that doesn't break,
Yes,
right?
it doesn't break. But when we try to implement it,
Yes.
it's not going to be straightforward. You might get some error, you might get something which you need to understand what is happening.
Yeah.
And here I can say logic have a very much like it's very good to show you what is happening in the background.
Okay,
You
that gets interesting now because it's a bit beyond the nice, beautiful, perfect flow, right?
Yes, so let me show you that.
Very briefly, a sneak peek of probably what might be a next session of Data Lounge. You'll have to subscribe if you want to see, maybe we have another session seeing all this geekiness going on.
I can show you how it,
Very quick, just a little bit, just to keep us on the edge.
so this is succeed,
Yes.
and you can see here is,
Wow.
you can see this nice green
Graphical
tick.
user interface. Good.
Green tick is everything is good. And if I go here and I can say okay, perfect, I can see what is the
Wow.
output as well.
Okay, good.
So look, my file has 5 records, so you can see the 5 records here.
Yes, correct.
So you can see step by step
Step.
what data is coming from the system and how does it
Perfect.
process, what is input, what is output.
Okay.
If it does fail, it will give the error message as well. So it will help you to understand how you can fix it.
Okay.
So
There's
it is
plenty more there.
plenty more there, to be honest.
Okay, perfect. So, gotta thank you very much. It was a great pleasure to have you here. Almost don't get you here. So thank you for coming.
Yep.
And yeah, to all of you watching this, thank you very much for joining us in one more episode of Data Lounge. Today was a very special one, very interesting to see, not necessarily the more traditional elements that we have seen in other episodes, but this is completely new. We had never had Excel, logic apps, and tables, storage tables. We've never seen the usage of storage tables. So all this is very, very interesting. Thank you all of you for joining us one more time. Thank you to our very special guest, Gaurav. And until next time, if you liked what you saw today, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you, and until next time.